Sherene's in the ashram with Amma, and I'm here in the pyramids with the gods. And we're calling upon the high devas and the netters and the archangels, who are the guardians of the tarot, from where the tarot comes from, to bless this moment and empower this moment and bring to it all the light and truth and power and joy that these subtler levels bring as we connect with them. In our journey, the beginning of our journey with you.
So we're so excited to introduce you to the beginning of a very special project. We've wanted to come together for a long time. So Katy, Noura Butler is she's been my tarot mentor for many years and a beloved advisor and guide and source of inspiration. And I'm just thrilled to be collaborating with her on this project it's like we're bringing our Jupiter and Scorpio energies together to hopefully bring you all the depth and secrets from probably many lifetimes that we've shared together, I feel. And, we've been really meditating on how to bring the tarot in over the last few years, but at the same time, when something gains popularity, I think it can be a little bit overwhelming to know where to start or, how to study or how much to study or, how when it's like the kind of teaching that will really resonate with you, that you can bring into your life or even bring into readings. And what about tarot as a tool for self-inquiry? We were talking about right before we started filming. So we want to, first just kind of share our background with you so you know who your guides are for this course. And then for those of you who are completely new to tarot, we want to give you some kind of introduction and basis to this beautiful art form. So I guess I'll just introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sherene Vismaya, and I studied astrology and psychology for many years. With tarot, always actually is my first love. I didn't do an official study of tarot, but when I was 16, I got my first deck, and it just came with me with everything else I was studying. And it wasn't until I was really immersed in my Jungian studies where I made the connection between the archetypal realm and the tarot. Little did I know I'd been living with this amazing pack of archetypes, that I had been studying in the Jungian alchemy. So when I made that bridge through my teacher at the time, Edwin Steinbrecher, who was an amazing metaphysician, he wrote the Inner Guide meditation book, very, very powerful book. And he was the first teacher I had that really bridged the archetypal with the the tarot with the archetypal and the Jungian psychological sphere. So it was like all my worlds coming together when I realized, we can take the astrology, the horoscope, the tarot, and the world of archetypes, and they can all live together. So, and they all inform each other. So when this discovery happened, it changed my life. I remember the book literally fell on my head. I've told this story many times in a bookshop in Soho, New York, back in the 90s. And that moment forever changed my life, and was a precursor before I started making yearly pilgrimages to India. And then along my journey a few years later, I met Katy, and at the perfect timing, and we started to work together. And I was just blown away by it's like this seamless yet deep approach to the tarot. Like when she reads, it's just like pure art, and it's magic. I mean, you think of magic, it's pure magic. So I'm just thrilled to be able to bring you her work as well. And and I'll be learning from her as we go too. That's the thing, just like with astrology or psychology, tarot, it's infinite what you can learn. We're constantly learning. And Katy, you really taught me that, because you get so excited each time whenever we do readings still. Like, it's always like you're reading the cards for the first time. And I think that's part of the secret of the magic of what makes the readings feel so alive with you and so inspiring. So anyway, I'd like to allow you to introduce yourself, actually, Katy, because
thank you,
there's so much
darling.
to
Well, I've been reading the tarot for more than 50 years. I was always with the tarot, even before there was the tarot. My mother used to do card readings with a pack of playing cards, and people would come to the door and get readings from her. She has a Romany background, and so the women in our family always, worked with the unseen energies. My grandmother, my mother's mother, worked with the tea leaves, and we were always having seances in the house. And so I had I got my own pack to work with, a Marseille pack, when I was in my early 20s, and started to do readings immediately for money. And of course I was young, and I could read the cards on a psychic level, and I've been encouraged, obviously, and educated to do so. But there came a point when it was very, very, very difficult for me to give good readings to grown-up people, when I was too young and too inexperienced to understand, to give them good advice. And I was working solely on the astral level, and I had to stop. I had to stop for a few years. But, life and the universe brought me back to it. But I always lived with the tarot, like you, Sherene. Always I lived with the cards. And when I drew a card, I felt the card and understood the card and lived it, and went through the whole phase of the card. So I've always been working with the tarot, and I've been teaching the tarot for about 30 years now, and living the tarot still. And, even now, today, I do readings, and it's true, I find new things in the cards that I didn't see before. So I would think, talking about coming to the tarot and taking it seriously as a really powerful guide to you in your more subtle realms. The tarot brings everything into focus. Your high magical abilities, your emotions, your ideas and thoughts, and where they're coming from. It's a system doctrine which we will be looking at, but it's not that difficult to start to work with it, to start to read it. You can read it because the symbols are there, and the skill really is asking the questions. When you ask the question and you're looking for the truth, and you're looking for the truth in the moment, then the tarot can tell you straight away. You just say, what do I need right now? What's the real meaning of this situation? What's the challenge in this situation? What's the lesson in this situation? What is the best attitude for me to take towards this session? You've got 78 energies, different energies. And that you've got the whole cosmos in front of you, because the tarot pack separates the whole of the cosmos into 78 rays, all on different levels, right? On different levels. The tarot can be read on the high angelic realm level, and it can be read on in a totally mundane level, but it's all on the same vibrational ray. It's like a word, a letter in the language of the higher language, and it's got a picture. You can read that picture. That's why I recommend the Rider-Waite pack. And then you just take one card. You can
the Rider-Waite, yeah.
Yeah, the Rider-Waite pack is unparalleled, really, especially with learning from a clear perspective, with all the potential within it. So it's called the Rider-Waite pack because it was designed by A. Waite, who was a Christian mystic at the end of the 19th century. And I think he might have been a clergyman even. But I'm not sure about that. But he was a member of the Golden Dawn, and they were designed by Pamela Coleman Smith, who was also a member of the Golden Dawn, a little theatrical designer, a very wonderful little person. She actually did the artwork, but A. Waite's, they were his ideas, his concept, and Ryder was the publisher that published them. It's called the Ryder Waite. And apart from one or two anomalies, which I will share with you later, it's the best one. But all you have to do is just put the cards out. And if you've got a pack now, just shuffle the cards, put them out, ask yourself a question, and just draw that card. Let your hand guide you, or look and see which one shines for you. Just look, with your slightly more subjective vision. Let your hand be drawn. Left hand is best, unless you're right-handed. Left hand over the pack, and just take one and look at it. And just see what it says, see the feeling, feel the feeling around it. Look at the images, let them speak to you. I'm going to explain it all to you so that you will be able to give a comprehensive reading, and you may even be able to charge money for it. And certainly you will be giving a valuable gift to someone by reading their cards, so whether they reward you in money or in other ways, you will deserve that reward. So just that's the first thing, to accustom yourself to the feeling of each card. And you've got your new pack, play with it. Let the energies sing to you, let them dance for you, shuffle them all up and see how they dance and feel them. And, really every day while you're working, well, every day, not even while you're learning the tarot, just every day, just take one out at the end of the day and say, what was the vibration? What was the meaning? What was the fragrance? What was the lens that I looked through life today? And what's the nature of that? And that card will tell you. You just let your eyes drink in the message, and it'll be there. And we will be explaining to you, how to remember and synthesize the energies, and how to read. In fact, we're going to teach you how to read. But you've got the books, you've got all the literature, you've got all the books that are going to be written, and you're going to experience them all. But we're going to teach you how to read, and the meaning, and the subjective experience, and the objective experience view of each one of those energies. 78 sounds like a lot, but it actually isn't, because they're so beautifully structured. It's not 78 images.
That's the key when you think to break it down, because I think, and that's why we wanted to start with the minor cards, because those tend to be the daunting, overwhelming. But once you really have a grasp with those, once you really have a relationship with those, and you see the structure and how they're interconnected with the major cards, then the whole thing really comes together, right? So
it really does. Yes, it's a dance, isn't it? We're teaching you the step of the dance, the routine. Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, and it is. I mean, it really is. It's a cosmic dance. It's the cosmic dance which flows through all of us. You just have to learn the measures, and then you're part of that. The tarot certainly takes you there. Yes, all the energy, as you say, are woven in together in a beautiful sort of structure, measured structure, like the dance of the stars. And it's wonderful to be working with the great astrologer like you, with the tarot, like really understanding how we can work with those cosmic patterns in an absolutely immediate and personal way. The thing that's so wonderful about the tarot, of course, is you don't need an ephemeris. You don't need any book. You don't need anything. That little pack there is totally portable. You can read for anyone in the world if you can share a spoken language, but I've done languages. I've done readings in foreign languages, which I don't even know how I did it. When I've been traveling. Yes.
That's amazing. You know,
I don't know how.
But it's like you said, it's the pictures. I think like realizing that you're learning to read the pictures and they're going to speak to you differently each time, because a lot of people think it's like you have to memorize the meaning of each card, and it's not. It's really more about learning, like you were saying in the beginning, to attune yourself to the moment so that you can read what's in front of you and be really tuned into what in that card, like you know the card so well, but that there's something in that moment in that card that speaks to you. So many times people who've never had any in a way, it's like in any tradition, the beginner's mind is the best, because you will probably see something in the card that we haven't even seen, and then that's your starting point. And you always have that mindset in when you read, almost like you've never seen the card, so that something in the rich symbolism will speak to you. Like, for instance, like with the Queen of Cups, you know, I just pulled her just randomly. There's no random though, of course. You're reading for one person and you're going to be focused on the water. The water is going to be the thing that strikes you. Or maybe this one moment you're reading for someone and it's not just water. Or maybe you're focused on the lantern sitting next to her, or you're focusing on the details of her throne. Like each time something different will stand out, right? For a reason, and use the cue for that.
But it is such a watery card, isn't it? I mean, it really does put you in touch. It's a very good card to draw for it when you're reading for anyone, because immediately it will bring you into your empathy. Because you will feel that, you know, you put your feet in the water yourself, you know, you'll feel, you know, that your psychic and healing centers just opening up just by looking at the card. That's the other thing, you know, what we're going to be doing is making a relationship between the symbology on the card and the subjective feelings and knowings that live inside us, so that we can connect with that. We can use those cards as connectors to our more kind of subtle levels. And it's all delineated. So we've got the journey, we've got the notation, we've got the octave already there. So the cards are connecting you to that, so that you begin to learn your own instrument, which is you as a reader, your own ability, you know, to play the music.
It's like learning to play music, like the attunement. You know, in astrology, it'd be very connected to Neptune, the planet Neptune, as reading. Like being able to read. We both have Neptune on our ascendant, so we attune.
Well, the Kabbalists say that the tarot resonates on the level of the archangels. It goes higher in Kabbalah. It goes higher than astrology. It goes to the level of the angels, who are, in a sense, from them come, you know, the cosmic laws. It goes higher than that. You know, it can put you in touch, you know, with your highest magical levels, which, well, at least knowledge that they're there. Anyway, that's what they say. That's the level, and it certainly does. I mean, working with the tarot does very, very, very heighten your abilities of higher awareness. It certainly does put you in touch with them. That's
and it does about yourself, like you said. I think that's the key, because people often go into it. Maybe at first we go into it. Certainly, I know I did as a teenager. When I got my deck at 16, I got into it because I wanted to have questions answered. I wanted to have an oracle. It was like, you know, my first inclination was like, good, I can ask all these questions that I wanted to ask the Ouija board, but then I realized I shouldn't be playing with the Ouija board. So we got the tarot deck instead. So asking the tarot, at first it's like, you know, you get to ask all these questions, and then but through that, and even, you know, people, I mean, always, you know, we want to, like, it's part of wanting to predict the future, or know how somebody's feeling about us, or know some information that we want to have that we feel we don't have access to. But through that, even though you may feel like you're repetitively asking, a lot of people will pick up the tarot for that reason, because they want to have predictions, so they want to have some. But it doesn't have to be sorry.
Yes, I know. It's like people doing, not, getting addicted to their pendulums and not realizing, that these are coming from their own higher knowing. So I think it's important to make that point, really, that the tarot does not just operate from the level of the astral, where you think that's going on and that's going on, and that it does, of course, it can operate from that level, but it's not terribly reliable and it's not a good practice. So I think at this point, it's quite, good to elevate the practice, because the tarot does take you beyond that. And it does take you beyond that level of, oh, I think you're going to get a red car and there's a man, and all of this. Because
but I just want to say, I want to just finish my thought, because you play a really crucial role in the finishing of this thought that I was having, which was the reason I brought it up is because we might start from that place. We might start from that place of wanting to feel like we, certainly I would come to you over and over with some of the same questions. And I know, sometimes as a reader, you're like, oh gosh, this person's asking the same questions over and over. But then as the guide and even your own relationship with the tarot, you actually learn about yourself. It can be a really deep teaching. So there's nothing wrong with starting with that place. And that is often, that's the human nature, is that we're like, we want to know something. We want to have answers. We want to figure something out. We want to control something. But don't worry, because even if that is the struggle, and even if you feel like, oh, and I know, and I can't read for myself the cards, but through all of those practices, you are going to meet yourself. Like, that's the beauty of the cards. You can't not meet yourself. Like, they're going to keep mirroring back to you and where you are, and what the archangels or the archetypes, however you understand, how they're communicating with you, and how they're trying to mirror you back to you and bring you to your highest level of expression through these seemingly mundane situations, right?
That's a very good point. I mean, that really is, that's lovely. Yes, it's true. It's absolutely true. And the thing is, yes, I mean, not so much, looking at what's going to happen, looking at how it's going to unfold, looking at potential. I think it's, if you're starting from the place of wanting to know what's going to happen, well, the tarot can't tell you, because it's up to you. What the tarot can do is show you potential choices. If you do this, it can show you how things will turn out. If you do this, that'll happen. If you do this, you'll bring this as part of your learning experience. It's all about learning to be you, and to be you in this beautiful paradise that we've been given, but this perilous paradise that we inhabit. Yes, a perilous paradise. And and it's
pastime paradise.
But it's both of those things, isn't it? Being alive in this world, in this wonderful world, with everybody so different, everybody different from each other. And everybody part of the light, everybody deriving from love, and will eventually be united with it. And we see all of that, in the tarot. We see all of that. The tarot. One thing I'd like to point out when we're talking about starting is, this is something that I want you to underline 3 times. There is no such thing as a bad card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There is no such thing as a bad card. Everything is there. All of life's experience is there, and we go through. Even despair is momentary and passes. All of life's experience, and you don't start thinking, oh, getting shocked and upset and scared when you see cards with bold and harsh images. There has to be boldness and harshness in life. It can't all be, some sort of sugary soap opera. This is a real drama we're in, and real things happening. And the tarot shows you that it's all extremely positive. Even the dark, painful cards. When you understand them and embrace them, the pain goes.
Yes.
no such thing as a bad card. I know, we've all been guilty of this. You're doing a reading for yourself and you take a look. Well, I don't think I meant to take that one.
Yes.
You have to look at it. And then
Want
you'll
to put it back.
No, I think I really meant that one, and you'll get the same message.
Yeah, you want to put the card back in the deck. I know everyone does that. In
We've
fact,
all
even in
done
my workshops, people sometimes do, but will actually put the card back in the deck.
Yes. Oh, I didn't mean to pick that one. But the thing is, whatever card that you choose, you must look at it seriously, and you must look at it with the eyes of love, and you must look at it with the eyes of strength and truth.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's true, and everything that's true is wonderful. Truth is more beautiful than anything else. And when you work.
Oh, yes. No, and that since you're saying that, what comes up all the time is people ask, this is the big controversy, which I think is great to talk about, the whole idea of reversals. Neither of us read reversals because we feel the card itself is complete, right? And it has its light and dark, its shadow, just like the priestess.
Yes. No, so we don't do reversals. So we don't do that. We don't believe in that. And that it's a rather shallow way of looking at it. We're thinking, oh, it means that. And if it's upside down, it means the opposite. Of course not. The tarot is a whole spectrum, of everything on that vibe, on that ray. So therefore, it's really important to be clear about the question, and it's really important, to receive the answer.
Yes. Well, Katy, let's
look at it.
Yeah.
Should we have a go? Do we have a go?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's put some cards up.
Just to kind of show our teachings, just to kind of show our teaching style, and just for like kind of an intro. And then we can also just talk about like what we're going to be covering in the class.
Yes.
So why don't we each pull what do you recommend? We can each kind of do like a mini reading, and what format, like what's a good kind of beginner's format?
With everyone now to start this off, whoever's sitting there, put your tarot pack out in front of you, put it out. I'm doing it. Spread it all out in a fan so that you can see every card face down in a fan. You'll get good at fanning them out. But
adjust your a little bit, just so, because it kind of sunk down, just so you can see a little bit.
Okay, so you put your card out in front of you, then open up your mind and say, I just want a card, to signify the beginning of this journey of the tarot, this particular stage of the journey. My journey, you started your journey, and everybody that's sitting here, is going to take a card for the start of their journey. So I'm going to take one first. All right, let my hand just go straight to it. Here it is. I'm going to take that one, and I've drawn the Queen of Wands. So this could be a lovely creative experience for me. The Queen of Wands, there she is. She's sitting, actually, look, she's sitting with her back to the pyramids. I'm sitting with my front.
That's totally you.
Front of the pyramids. I wonder if I could turn the iPad around and show the people the pyramids. Shall I do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. She really is at the pyramids. She really is at the pyramids. So.
Can you see it, Sherene?
Just a little bit. Can you switch? Just move the camera a little bit to the right. Sorry, to your left. Left. There we go.
There you are.
Beautiful.
There you are. So I'm sitting here, the start of my journey with you.
Yeah.
In the lovely afternoon, and with my cats. And there's the cat. She's lovely Queen of Wands. She's holding a sunflower. She's the Queen of fire. Because Wands is about fire. And we're sitting here by the pyramids with the cats, which I've got all my cats around me. And there's a feeling of loving rulership here, which is what all the queens are about, emotional understanding. And the Queen of Fire is really contained with all her kind of inspiration and spirituality and will. So she's a wonderful energy to have drawn, you know, for teaching the mysteries at the Pyramids to a class. So it shows that my start of the journey, you know, I'm well placed. I've got everything I need in front of me and everything to be able to give you the best I can give you, to give you comfort and inspiration. Her knees, look, are apart. She's very feminine. She's very welcoming, but she's definitely a queen. Look, I mean, she's got a, you know,
Yes,
an expression of command. She's got a sunflower, you know, which is also showing that there's something terribly sort of joyful about sunflowers, aren't there? And also something slightly charming and amusing about sunflowers, I think. Yes. She's got lions on her throne, so she is a devotee of Sekhmet, the lioness goddess.
Too.
The Leo energy is there, but the lion of the throne has been domesticated into this little black cat. So she's domesticated power. So there's a sort of easy intimacy, even though she's giving, you know, all of the power and truth of the ancient mysteries. It's being done with warmth and love. So it makes me feel very happy to have drawn that. And to be able to give that to you. It is. And yes, and there is Sekhmet, you know, in my temple here. And I almost think, looking at her wand that she's holding in her hand there, it almost looks like a broomstick, doesn't it? You'd think that there could be a bees in it. You know, with the black cat, there's something sort of rather witchy about her in a very sort of warm and grown-up way. You know, there's something a bit witchy about this. And I'm certainly not against anything witchy. I quite like witchy, but, you know, we can go beyond witchy, you know, into the mystery of the temple. But, you know, we still have to embrace the witch. So, the witchiness. So, yeah, the witchiness. All right, so that's me. Okay, let me see what you've got. And then you can read it for the people. What is it?
Oh, this is interesting. The Three of Pentacles.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
I love this. So I love the threes because they always remind me of the Empress. You know, they always relate back to the Empress. So it's like the Empress of Earth. And I love the Three of Pentacles because it's like the coming together. I feel like it's you, me, and Jess coming together to create this course. Yes. Jess, our wonderful assistant that's going to be supporting us in the structural aspect of this. And so I just feel like this is the energy I've definitely been feeling today, of like that creative energy, but also in an earthy way of like, how do we put this together, you know, and learning, you know, the earth is always like the practical side also of what you're building. And this is a new project. We're building a school, we're starting from like the foundational level. And the three is always about how to build a really magical foundation. It's not the structure of the four that is more indelible. This is about the creative, you know, it's still in the creative phase, but it's got that, you know, it's the triangle, so it's still got that magical quality. It still has the Empress goddess energy behind it. I love that. So it feels like the birthing of the project, you know, and getting together to have the discussions, lay the plans, and
it's exalted really, Mars. Exalted, isn't it? It's exalted Mars. It's Mars
Capricorn. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, Mars in Capricorn in astrology. So Mars is exalted in Capricorn because he's very strategic and he's very structured. And I'm a Mars gal and Scorpio, so Mars is my planet. So, and yeah, it's really, you know, every time we create something new, we have to really think about the structure, and that in itself is a learning process, isn't it? Like, what is the correct structure? And we often think of that as something rigid, but I like the idea of the three because it's not rigid yet. It's really flowing, but it is laying an important. It's really giving the birth. You know, the triangle I feel is like the goddess, the way she gives birth to something. Because in India, all of the symbolism, like we even chant every morning in the 1,000 names of the goddess that it's she who resides in the center of the triangle. So here we have the triangle of the above in this temple. They're meeting in this.
Yeah, the delta, the female yoni, which is a triangle, you know, the gate of birth. Yes, so it's coming into its real birth, and there's real movement there. And also, look, you've got the three aspects of the self. You've got the monk, you've got the architect, and you've got the craftsman, all working together to the glory of God. I mean, you know, this is Chartres Cathedral, you know, because A. Waits was a Freemason, so he's put the craftsman as the stonemason, but it's still the art form. You know, we're talking about art form. We're talking about, you know, spiritual growth, the monk, and we're talking about the architect, and all of us, you know, are architects of our lives. So I think, you know, the tarot here is, you know, what you're bringing in is bringing in the architecture, you know, the teaching the architecture. It's rather lovely to think of tarot as a lesson in the architecture of one's lives. You know, that you can design and create from something that's there, the material that's there in the tarot. You can create, you know, a wonderful temple like Chartres Cathedral, you know, to the glory of God.
Our tarot temple we're building, and we're going to be starting on this very auspicious, week where the sun and the moon come together in their exaltation in Vedic astrology. You know, the sun is in exalted Aries and the moon is exalted in Taurus, right as we're initiating our course. So
that's exciting. That's very exciting. Yes, we are in the Temple of Tarot.
April 15th,
yeah. So you're doing you know, you're bringing in that. And, you know, and then there's the Queen of Wands as well, bringing in, you know, the inspiration and these comforts. So that's really great, Sherene. I'm really thrilled about that. I wonder what cards you know, our friends have drawn. It'd be lovely to know.
Yeah, we'll share. So we'll put in the comments.
Yes, they could send them in, couldn't they? And then we could tell them, you know, we could get let's do that. So send them in if you want to send in your cards, and
we'll put it, because this will be posted, so they can email us, or they can put it in the comments. And then of course, those of you who join our deep immersion, you know, we're going to have that. It's a little bit of a limited circle so that we can give everyone personal attention, but there's still some space in there. So we hope you can join us for that, because we'll be meeting weekly like this, and we'll be doing more of, in addition to the 2 classes we're going to be delivering each week to you. We're going to have like more of a intimate meeting where we can go over specific cards and spreads and answer questions
and get to know each other
a little bit
as a group.
Material for those who want to have more of the experiential. We're all
building the temple, all of us together. We're all building it. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. So I think I think that's a great place to maybe to wind down this conversation, and you know, maybe we'll come back and do another. I have the vision of us maybe making one more video before we start our course, maybe just to answer some of the questions. Maybe what I'll do is send out kind of like a frequently asked question to ask people what are their main questions before they start that they really want us to kind of cover before we really get deep in the material. Maybe we can make another video about that for people who are still a little bit intimidated by the tarot, or about really committing to the course of study with the tarot. So we could just maybe ask what their questions are, their concerns are.
We could reach a block where they can't go any further until they have a new level of inspiration. You know, some people sort of have, you know, time to kind of breathe some new light into it, and you know, wake up, especially now where we really do need to be working on self-sovereignty. You know, that's what the nature of these times are about. And when you've got your own tarot pack there, you've got your own source of higher guidance with you all the time. You can always consult the tarot, and it will always give you the right advice. So it's a very, very, it's a prerequisite to self-sovereignty, really. So I feel, you know, that this is, I feel very happy about that. Get yourself a pack and start to learn how to read it and for yourself and understand it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Queen of Wands.
darling.
And
what should we do? Do you think we should explain what we're going to be doing? Like, you're going to be doing a video and I'm going to be doing a video. So they're going to get a video on, you know, each one of the suits, the 4 suits. But then you're going to be getting the one from me. And we will make sure that we're sort of giving it a different approach, that they're not going to get the same thing. And then we'll get a shared one.
So two videos per week that we'll deliver them on Sunday. So you have the whole week to study, and then we will meet up and we do for the deep immersion, we'll meet up and we'll have a seminar for the material. But you'll get a separate video. Katy will cover one aspect of, so each week we'll be focusing on a different suit of the minor, and Katy will approach it from her background, I'll approach it from my background. So you'll be getting the Egyptian magical tradition with Katy, and you'll be getting more of the Jungian astrology from my perspective. So it'll be really, you'll cover all the bases, hopefully.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. And so that's what you'll be getting, and to start with, and then we'll have a look. We'll take it from there.